Today I'm going to help you set up your MyFitnessPal account. We're going to customize our caloric intake and our macronutrient ratios to get optimal results. Now, I need to say this before I get into it. If you're planning on losing fat, losing up to 1 kilogram per week is about the best you can hope for. Losing it any faster than that's probably unhealthy. I would usually get people to shoot for about half a kilo a week is a little bit healthier in my opinion. Slow and steady always wins the race. And with mass gain, you can't really expect to gain anything more than 1 kilo per month of lean mass. Anything faster than that is probably going to involve unnecessary fat gain. So there are some exceptions out of that, but let's just remember that before we set up our goals with caloric requirements, etc. So what you need to do is basically just come to your home page. Let's just say we're starting from here. Now, what we want to do is click on goals down the bottom here, up the top I should say. Then this little button here, view guided setup. So once that's open, you just enter your details, weight, height, goal weight perhaps, and the important parts here are your daily normal activities and how often you train and your goals. These are all going to change the amount of calories it suggests you eat per day. So we want to be as accurate as we can. So now most people are fairly sedentary. I would just leave this activity level at sedentary. I'm a personal trainer, so I'm fairly active. I'm going to put mine lightly active. But unless you're like a professional athlete or a brickies laborer, there's no point setting this any higher. It's probably going to overestimate your requirements. And if fat loss is a goal, it's going to make it take longer. Next thing you want to change here is how often you're exercising per week. So unless it's high intensity exercise, I wouldn't really count it as a workout. I'd say 2 to 3 for most people should be enough. I'm going to set mine at 3 here. And then, as I was saying earlier, it depends on what your goal is, fat loss or muscle gain. But you can't expect to lose more than 1 kilogram of fat per week in a healthy fashion or gain more than 1 kilo of muscle per month. So we want to try and keep that in mind and avoid doing this in an unhealthy way. So if muscle gain was a goal, I would set it at this, 0.25. If fat loss was a goal, I'd either suggest picking 0.5 kilograms a week of fat loss or up to 1 kilogram max. So I'll just click on this one now. Update profile. Then it's given me some basic targets here. So I've got about 2,900 calories a day as a target, but we can see here the macronutrient targets are way off. So the carbs are too low, fat's too high, protein's unnecessarily high as well. So how do we change all of this? Pretty simple. Just click on goals again. And as it loads, we'll see this little box appear here where we can edit these different macronutrient targets. So at the moment, these are the percentages of calories it's working out for me. 50% of calories coming from carbs, 30% from fat, and 20% from protein. If I left these as they are, I would probably gain unnecessary body fat during this phase of muscle gain and eating excessive calories. So I want to change this. And the macronutrient ratios I recommend for most people are pretty much the same. I'm a big believer in the 80-10-10 ratios or something close to that, but I find personally 70-15-15 is a little bit more flexible and easier to hit. There's a little bit more wiggle room there with your fat intake. So my allowances now are 500 grams of carbs roughly, around 50 grams of fat, and about 100-110 grams of protein. Those are very achievable, and I'd say these caloric requirements are pretty accurate for me right now. I usually shoot for about 3,000 calories a day, so if I get roughly these figures, I'll be doing really well. Now, my goals are mass gain, so I want to try and hit at least this, maybe a little bit more. If it's fat loss, we want to try and avoid going over that number. So I don't encourage drastic calorie restriction on a long-term basis, but it can be a useful tool to get you to your weight loss goals faster. And by using objective data, we can see what you're actually eating, and then if there's any stalls or any plateaus, we can make changes and try and get things rolling again just by tweaking these things a little bit. Okay, so that's how you set up your caloric requirements and your macronutrient ratios to save changes when you're done here, of course, too. Very simple now. It's changed all these settings. If I go up to food too, you'll see I've got new targets here. There they all are. And I just enter my food. I'm going to show you how to do that in another video, how to enter your meals. And you're ready to get started now. So hope that works. If you've got any questions, post them down below. Or if you're a client of mine, just shoot me an email if you've got some specific questions, or send me a text, and we'll get this up and running for you. Thanks heaps for watching. Stay tuned, more videos on the way. Peace.